Kelsey from hipburn.com, and today we're gonna go over what I typically eat in a day. All right, so we are going to start off with some coffee, and then we typically work for a couple of hours, and then we have our first meal. So after working for a couple of hours, it's time for our first meal. So we typically start with eggs, and then depending on if it's a lower or higher carb day, we'll add in some extras. So today, I'm gonna be having eggs and sweet potatoes as a high carb day. So we like to do some bulk food prep a couple of times a week so that we have food on hand. So really all we have to do for all of our meals is heat it up. So today, Dennis is cooking some eggs and some grass-fed Kerrygold butter. So you just crack the eggs in the pan with the butter in it and then stir fry it up. And then the sweet potatoes, we just need to heat them up. So again, we put a little of grass-fed butter and then stir fry the potatoes. And it's a great first meal for your high carb day. All right, so here you have it, is our first meal. So this is 3 eggs and some sweet potatoes. And I'm really active, so I need a lot of food. I'm not constrained to X amount of calories or a certain amount of food. If I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat a little bit more. So I like to start off with a big first meal. All right, and here is our lower carb day option. So again, it's 3 eggs, but instead of the sweet potatoes, we added some cheese and a half of an avocado. So as you can see, the main difference is on higher carb days, we like to get our energy from carb sources, hence the sweet potatoes. On lower carb day, we'll get our energy from our healthy fats. So we have some cheese and some avocado. All right, so time for meal number 2, our lunch meal. And we typically wait a couple of hours after our first meal. We don't necessarily have set meal times. We kind of just go based on our hunger levels. So if we worked out super hard the day before, we might have a little bit of an earlier meal if we're really hungry that day. And Dennis and I tend to eat really big meals rather than a bunch of small meals throughout the day. But you can really do whatever works best for you, but we just tend to like eating bigger meals. So for our higher carb lunch, we're going to be having steak, broccoli, and sweet potatoes. All right, so as you can see, our plate is full and we have good protein, we have veggies, and we have sweet potatoes for our carbs, which is gonna give us great energy. And for our lower carb lunch example, we're going to have burger patties with veggies and avocado. Thank you. And here is our lower carb lunch example. So as you can see, we have a couple burger patties with some different mixed veggies. So we have some zucchini, some peppers, and Brussels sprouts. Here, the biggest difference is that we have veggies and avocado, which is healthy fats. And then here we have veggies and sweet potatoes. All right, and for our last major meal of the day, we like to have our biggest meal. Dennis and I like to work out in the afternoon, so our dinner meal is typically our largest. So today's meals are kind of red meat heavy because that's what we have on hand. So typically we'll mix in some chicken or turkey or different types of meat as well, but today we have lots of red meats. So for today's high carb meal example, we're gonna have some burger patties with regular potatoes and broccoli. Thank you. So here it is, and as you can see, there is a little bit of something on the potatoes. We like to add plain Greek yogurt to our potatoes because it tastes exactly like sour cream, but it's higher in protein. And for today's lower carb meal example, we're going to be having some beef with broccoli and melted Asiago Parmesan cheese. Thank you. All right, and so here we have our lower carb day dish. So we have some meat again with broccoli, Asiago Parmesan cheese melted on top. And then we have a side of zucchini pasta noodles with some pesto sauce and Asiago on top. So as you can see, we're eating lots of food and we're making sure that we get tons of nutrients, but the days between higher carb day and lower carb day are just slightly different in the types of foods that you eat. You wanna make sure that you're still eating a lot of food, enough to get good energy for your day. And snacks. I love snacks, and a typical go-to for me is rice cakes with nut butter on either low carb day or a high carb day. So on a lower carb day, I'll add in a more generous layer of nut butter to get some extra healthy fats. But on higher carb day, I'll still include some nut butter. I'll just do a thinner layer of the nut butter and add in some fruit or berries, something like that on top. So as you can see, we have a rice cake with nut butter on both high carb day and lower carb day. So it's okay to have fats on higher carb day. It's okay to have some carbs on lower carb day. You just want to be mindful of the amounts. So Here is the higher carb day rice cake. It has a thin layer of the nut butter and adds in some banana on top for some extra carbs. And then the lower carb day example has a more generous layer of the nut butter so that you can get some energy from the healthy fats. So depending on how hungry I am, I'll have 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 of these rice cakes, just depending on if I've worked out that day, if I'm feeling extra hungry. I just wanna make sure that these snacks are helping fuel my body. So if I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat a little bit more. If I'm not hungry, I'm gonna stop eating them. And finally, dessert. So on a higher carb day, one of my go-to desserts is a chocolate covered banana. This is a Banana Babies chocolate covered banana and it's delicious. And then lower carb day, I'll typically enjoy a square or 2 of dark chocolate. And both of them are delicious. You shouldn't feel deprived. So find desserts that you enjoy, and dark chocolate is always a good go-to. All right, thank you so much for watching this episode of What I Typically Eat in a Day. I hope that it was helpful for you. And if you liked this video, leave a comment, let us know what you thought. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our daily videos, and we'll see you again soon.